I have been working the last few years on trying to understand heterogeneity and how much parents interact with kids. Part of my research agenda is to document how much of this heterogeneity can be linked to inequality in knowledge about the process through which children develop. And then there are several types of studies that I've been doing. Particularly, I am very interested in something that is easy for us to measure, which is language development. So very early on, you see massive differences in how much children learn language, and you also see how much language interaction they have with their own, with the adults in the home. Part of it is, as we show, is different adults have very different beliefs about the importance of parent-child interaction for language development. We have shown that there is predictive value. We have also shown that if you can manipulate the amount of knowledge that they have, we also see a lot more interaction between parents and children in terms of language development. There is a paper that influenced a lot of my work. I went to the University of Chicago thinking that I was going to do a PhD in macro and finance. And then when I was in my second year, I was asked to provide comments on a paper that my then, who would become my advisor, James Heckman, was writing with a friend of mine, Pedro Carneiro. It's a paper on human capital policy. And what really shocked me when I read that paper was how much of the inequality that we see in the labor market we can actually already see by the time children are 3, 4, and 5 years old. And I was profoundly affected by that finding, and so much so that I decided to completely stop working on finance and macro and totally shift to human capital formation. I think that there are a lot of things we don't know about human capital formation and how families and teachers actually contribute to the formation of human capital, and how we can induce parents and teachers to increase the rate in which that children actually acquire more human capital. I have profound suspicion that there is a lot more than just income or nudges or information policies that one could actually implement. But I think that both theoretically and empirically, we don't know how to instrumentalize and measure those components. I think that that's a massive open question in behavior economics, and one that matters tremendously, not only because it determines inequality in the long term, but also determines the long-run economic growth of nations. You know, because this long-run economic growth depends on the growth of new technologies, and the growth of new technologies depend on people to produce it, which means that we need to have human capital, right? And how we produce this human capital and the forces that are into play, I think that there are many unknowns and wide open areas for young people to investigate. My name is Flavio Cunha, and I'm a professor of economics.